morning, everybody. It is 7:30 Wednesday morning, July 14th. Let's talk a little bit about what's going on a little bit in the world. We got Cubans, Cubanized Americans protesting in the streets here in Houston about, I guess they're trying to overthrow the dictator in Cuba. I've been trying to stay away from this news, so forgive me if I'm not 100% sure of what's going on. I do know that Cuban Americans are protesting in the streets here in Houston, and it is causing traffic issues in some certain parts of the area, which is never good because we always have some pretty crazy traffic here in Houston anyway. So we really don't like people contributing to that situation, but I do feel for the Cubans wanting things better at home. There are whispers on the horizon that governments, not only abroad but here at home, are trying to, I guess, beta test, if not trying to develop cyber currency, something like Bitcoin or something like that, trying to go from a completely paperless currency. Now, in past videos, I have talked about this, and I've talked about this, and I've talked about this, guys. Despite the fact that paper currency, our American dollar, has only the value that we give to it, how much we can trade for it, it is still a tangible item to be traded. Cyber currencies and Bitcoin and stuff like that, I see that more as stocks. Something you're not going to physically put in your hand. You're going to keep it for a little while. When the price goes up, you're going to trade it. Try to make a little more money. Then you're going to take that money that you made off trading it, you're going to buy more stocks. Then you're going to wait for a little bit on it. You're going to sit on it for a couple of days. And once the price goes up, or if it goes up, you're going to trade it again. Try to make more money off of it. It is a tradable currency, but it's not something in your hand. So I'm not a fan of that. The more we become glued to our phones actually, contain more of our life than, our file cabinets and stuff like that we have hard copies of in our homes. Which, guys, we still gotta have hard copies when we are at home. People break their phones. Phones are stolen. It's something in our pocket. So, phones are stolen. Phones are broken. Phones fall in the lake. phones fall in the pool. What happens if all of a sudden you're having a great day at the beach, and then all of a sudden you reach in your pocket of your swim trunks and realize you just went swimming all day at the beach and your phone was in your pocket? Because we got to run around with that endorphin creating thing called our phone. And in a paperless society, how are you going to buy gas? Okay, say you drove all the way to the beach and you're one of them crazy people who, runs around with the get gas light on in your vehicle, and you're saying, yeah, I can get to the beach and then, I'll get gas on the way back home. Well, you just went swimming all day with your phone. How you going to get gas? Boom. Yeah, no, that's purely a metaphor, but guys, people are attached to their phones like it's a life-saving device. Maybe that is a good thing for if we do go paperless, but I don't like it, because that makes us vulnerable in the event of grid down scenarios, EMPs, solar flares, and naturally occurring EMPs, guys. Solar discharge. All of a sudden, we get hit with there was a solar discharge that happened in, I think it was the 40s. And this was, no real technology other than, few wealthy people having radios and telegrams and stuff like that. Boom. They were having telegram lines catch on fire because of the solar flares. Corona discharge. Dudes, guys, if there's that much magnetic energy in our atmosphere that just random conductive material is catching on fire, holy crap. And that was just a natural occurring phenomenon. I mean, good news is that with technology, things like that can be predicted. But unless you're on the news every day or something like that, or you're attached to the news, you're not going to know about it. And again, okay, we have a solar discharge, natural occurring phenomenon. All the phones or all technology is affected on certain half of the planet that gets bombarded. Say, East Coast gets hit of America gets hit by this corona discharge. Boom, the entire grid is damaged. IT is damaged. Technology is damaged. Most of the phones are damaged. How are you going to get around without your phone? Tangibles, guys, tangibles. Having a few bucks in your pocket. Even a $5, dude. $5, even with gas prices today, will get you a few miles down the road, if not home, with the fuel economy of our today's modern vehicles. $5 will get me 2 1/3 gallons of gas, 20 miles to the gallon. I can pretty much get halfway across Houston on $5 worth of gas. So, really and truly, guys, even running around with $5 in your pocket is good common sense. Now, I've talked about precious metals and stuff like that. And, you know, precious metals are a great hedge against inflation because they always have value. So, if you're thinking about precious metals as a bartering material, remember, precious metals will not become valuable in a grid down scenario for probably about a year after the scenario. We're talking a long-term scenario. But for the first, in a grid down scenario, cash money will be probably still accepted for at least a month to 6 months. If the scenario has a light at the end of the tunnel, if there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and say, you know, the news reports that, hey, we are going to probably be back online and everything else like that in 6 months, the American dollar will still be traded throughout that scenario. Now, we're going with a long term. Let's say it hits us very, very hard. And, you know, the whole country is down. Let's even go as far to say as it is, you know, half the planet. So not only is North America, but parts of South America are, you know, now grid down. In a situation like that, comeback is going to take a long time. So what's going to happen? Okay, banks may reopen in a primitive kind of way. They'll go back to paper. You know, ledgers and balances and stuff like that. The good thing is that most banks, not only do they save their ledger balances and stuff like that online, most of them actually print out their ledger balances. So let's say go to bed on Monday, Tuesday, the shit's grid down. If the banks were to actually decide to reopen, they have a current ledger balance of what they have on hand to actually work with. So, boom, boom, boom. You know, ATMs, yeah, not so much. But we can always remove, you know, the tellers and stuff like that do usually have keys to the actual ATMs, and cash can be removed from the cash boxes and added to cash drawers. So, technically speaking, that money in the ATMs is actually part of the ledger balance of each branch, unless it's a remote ATM. And even remote ATMs are actually branches of larger banks. It may not be in the same parking lot or in the same building, but it is actually part of a branch ATM, controlled and ledgered through that branch. So, barter materials, you know, everybody swears up and down they're going to barter the hell out of everything. Do you know how to barter? Do you even know how to do it? What is barter materials? what are people going to actually want? I've got a bushel full of carrots. You want, a handful of them. What are you going to trade for? Well, you don't have no bucks, so what are you going to trade? Well, you might trade a pack of smokes, can of dip, a bottle of beer, sin items, as they are called, the vices, are excellent barter items. I call them sin items because they are part of the blue laws, which not every state has them, but Texas still, and Houston actually still holds to blue laws, meaning, stuff like alcohol and stuff like that can't be sold until after 12 o'clock on Sundays, or in some cases can't even be sold on Sundays. But yes, if I have a bushel full of carrots and you come over and you say, hey, James, I want 5 carrots. I'm going to be feeding the family this week. I got 2 or 3 beers I'll give you for it. I'm going to say, well, hot damn. Even if I don't personally drink, those actually go into my stash that I can then trade. Also, say I want some potatoes to go with my carrots. I can then take that pack of smokes over to Billy Bob, and I can buy a couple of potatoes with that pack of smokes. Really and truly, guys, and this is going to show my geek again, Dungeons and Dragons and adventure games and a lot of these RPG games and stuff like that, you've actually been training to be preppers and to be barterers. You go around your game and stuff like that, collecting stuff, and then you go to the marketplace and you trade your stuff for other and better stuff, or at least the stuff that you want. Guys, that is bartering and trading. And prepping, guys. Why do you then take your stuff that you gathered through your game and buy other stuff? Well, because you know that you're going to need that thing later in life or later in the game. Boom, you're preparing, you're prepping, guys. Right now, the American dollar is sound. It's not great, but it's sound. It's tradable, and it's still the world currency. Do your best to prepare for best case scenario. Gulf Coast, what do we typically prepare for because it happens all the freaking time? Hurricanes. Boom. A lot of Texans, at least Gulf Coast Texans, are preppers to a certain extent because they want to be able to survive a hurricane. Now, is that saying everybody? We've got a lot of influx of out-of-staters moving here into Houston. Dude, I'm on the road all the time, and you should see the number of out-of-state plates that I see on a daily basis. So you got out-of-staters moving here into the Gulf Coast. What's going to happen when they experience their first hurricane? Probably kissing their ass goodbye, thinking, "Oh my God, this is the worst thing anymore." Or they're gonna pull up their shit and they're gonna leave till the hurricane's over. Because A, they don't know what the fuck to do. So they're just going to leave. Don't blame them. If you don't know what the fuck to expect in a hurricane, probably leaving would be your best bet. But what else can we prepare for? And prepare for reasonably without breaking the bank. Having a couple of bucks in your pocket. Having a full tank of gas, or don't let your gas tank get below half full or half empty, whichever you like. Reason being, you don't know what's going to happen when you wake up in the morning. You may not be able to get gas. How far can you go on whatever you've got in your tank right now? It's a $64 million question, guys. But I think we're getting on approach to our 20-minute mark. I think we're going to go ahead and upload this one to the web. Y'all be good. I'm on my second strike with YouTube, so I'm trying to be nice. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Give me a thumbs down if you don't. Otherwise, keep your stick on the ice.